a few different topics. Allow me time to set everything up. For my side, I don't know why I can't do it prior to, but that's okay as long as I take care of it and do my disclaimer. So we're going to get to the disclaimer. Allow me a few moments, but I appreciate everyone for being here. I hope everyone's having a great morning, focused and ready to go. It's Monday morning. Um, and we're going to definitely talk about the trial. This is week 2 regarding the trial in regards to Diddy. A lot of people are feeling different ways about Diddy, Cassie. We get it. We get it. We get it. We get it. We understand that there's a lot going on. There's a lot being talked about. There's a lot that's being said in regards to the couple, them being together, the choices that were made. Everyone has to realize some famous people don't like to do certain things to get their hands dirty. They'll have other people do it. Can't forget that. So let's go ahead and get through the disclaimer and then we're going to get into more details. So, copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976, allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comma, comments, comma, news reporting, comma, teaching, comma, scholarships and research. Fair use is use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. All comments are alleged in our opinion and for entertainment purposes only. Ooh, I forgot to add it here. Hold on. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comma, comments, comma, news reporting, comma, teaching, comma, scholarships, and research. Fair use is used permitted by. Okay, so I had to add it there. Okay. All right, so we're going to get into and I need for everyone to realize there's going to be distractions, period. There's going to be distractions, there's going to be a lot that's going on. A lot of times people are going to unfortunately misquote some things and it's kind of human nature. You kind of have to go with the flow in regards to certain things being said. Like I was listening to some of my favorites and it's like that was said, that was said. It's like that's not true though, and I wanted to type something in the comments, but you just let people be people. So it is what it is. Okay. 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 So that's why a lot of times we grab our information from the news because the news is going to give it to us the proper way, the correct way. The statements are going to be correct. That's why I pull it from the news. And then I talk in between to you all. But it's important that we get the information right. Why? Because this man's life is on the line. He's on trial and he could spend a lot of time in jail. This is the other thing I want people to understand and realize. Other people are going to testify, period. Okay? Other people are going to testify. Not only that, okay, there's too many. Not only that, in regards to other people testifying, did some of these people are they testifying for their own freedom and safety and did they get a proper proper agreement? So that's the one thing that many people were talking about over the weekend. You're testifying, did you get something for testifying? Now, many people have asked, why is it that he's on this trial by himself? I don't think I kind of get why they did it this way. Some people may have signed agreements to testify for their own safety and to continue to live their life. Do y'all understand that? Why is he on the stand by himself? Why aren't other people joining him? And we're going to see. And that's why I think it's a 4 to 6 week trial period because a lot of people are going to testify. I really think that some people are testifying for their own safety and to get off from working with him, being with him. I do. Because in any other situation, I don't know if they did him that way, but will if we see that the bodyguard, the people that handled the money, the people that handled the transactions, if they start speaking, then it's gonna a light bulb's gonna go on for people saying, okay, we get why this and that is going on. So we're gonna get through a few different clips. There was a lot of interesting stuff that happened. I don't just listen to myself, I listen to others in regards to what's being talked about in the media. And some men are sticking up for Diddy, some women are going off on Cassie, and we get it. But the thing is, they work together on things. She had certain things probably because he wanted her to have those things, and he probably didn't want to get caught up in having those things. People really have to think. I think the people think a certain way, and they stick with that. But you can't just think a certain way. You got to kind of think outside the box. Why would Cassie hold on, maintain all that stuff and not him? Most women in a relationship, you're going to be doing that. I would like to obtain and have those things, not you. We break up, I don't want you leaking it. So he did things and she did things, so his hands would not get dirty. But all in all, things still did happen in regards to him. Good morning. Good morning. He has an aggressive form of. So you guys have to realize that there is a lot going on, a lot's being talked about, and Cassie's not innocent, Diddy's not innocent. This was definitely a very toxic relationship, a very serious situation that transpired. And the reason why certain things were unfolding the way that they unfolded is they wanted people to understand what type of relationship Cassie was in with this man. Okay? They wanted people to understand what type of relationship Cassie was with this man. And you got to realize when you're a millionaire, a lot of men don't do a lot of stuff. A lot of people don't take care of a lot of stuff. They have people, the handlers, they have assistants. So when you look at the relationship in regards to Diddy, Cassie, we kind of understand that he was asking her to do XYZ. He didn't want to do it. He didn't want to do it. He allowed her to do it. So if a day like this comes, who's taking the heat? Both of them. But who was the millionaire? He was. Hello? Who was older? You think that she would be able to create these things herself? They were in a relationship. He told Cassie, this is what he's into. Okay. Yes, let's get the likes up, y'all. Hi. It's been a minute since I've seen you. Welcome, welcome. Thank you, thank you. Oh my goodness, watcha. You've been there for a good 9 months. Yes, get those likes up, y'all. You've been there for a good 9 months. You were there when we had 3 to 4 thousand subscribers. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Thank you. My like person is in the building. Everybody say hi to Watcha. Good morning, good morning. I appreciate you being here. Yes, yes, good morning. So that's what you guys have to realize, that Cassie and Diddy had a relationship. He was trying to work with her on business, and she was not able to soar like she wanted to soar. Allegedly, Cassie said she felt that he kept her busy doing the FOs. And at some point, she felt if she didn't do the FOs, then the relationship could be over, her career could be over. You're not listening to me, you're not following what I'm telling you to do. So Cassie was fearful of, and he put her in front of a lot of famous people because so she always thought that this was going to be released, that's going to be released, and they spent time in the studio. That's the other thing. On Friday, if you guys did not know, when Dawn got on the stand, Dawn talked about the experience she saw. They were mad that Cassie didn't speak on the situation between what Dawn saw. There's going to be a lot of people that's been around Cassie and Diddy. So Cassie was supposed to state everyone that she was around and everyone that saw things. So y'all gotta watch the play. In regards to people testifying, are they testifying to be a free person? Are they testifying? Did they get a proper agreement? Are they testifying because they have to? A lot is happening. People are wanting to say, oh, this doesn't seem like this. This doesn't seem like this. This is a whole case. You would, if a cake is supposed to be in the oven for 30 minutes. You're not going to take the cake out of the oven after 2 minutes. People need to chill out. It is weird to me that people are saying, oh, I don't see it. I don't see it. I just don't see it. The trial is still going on. It's only been a week. You wouldn't take the cake out. It was supposed to be in there for 30 minutes. You want to take it out for before in 5 minutes. The cake would not be done. Why are people trying to rush the trial? Because I think some of them don't follow what the news is saying. I think some of them didn't realize what the transcript said. I think some of them aren't paying attention to what's being said, what's happening, and what the charges are. You have to give it time for them to present their case. This case isn't supposed to just be about Cassie Diddy. There's other people that are going to speak and testify. Why aren't people giving it time? That's weird to me. And people are still doing clickbait, y'all. People are still doing clickbait. Okay, so let's talk about over the weekend and what transpired. On Friday, there were some things that was happening outside of the court. We talk about inside the court, outside the court. There were some distractions that were happening outside the court. Now, whether that was plot plan, we don't know. People love attention. People love media. So there are some people that were wearing free him, and some people were saying they were paid alleged $20. $20 to wear the shirt. So there was a young lady, because you really got to watch the play. There was a young lady that walked up to the lady saying, what's going on? And the girl came up to the mic and she said she was trying to get me to wear this $20 shirt. And if you wear the shirt, you get $20 an hour. And she was like, oh, you don't want to wear the shirt? And she was like, no. The girl keeps trying to convince me to wear the shirt. But then you hear the guy in the background saying, speak louder. So I don't know if that was a news reporter asking the girl or if that was a guy that was working with trying to have people wear these shirts. Now, we can't confirm or deny who the people are that were paid to wear the shirts. This could just be people just wanting to support him. We don't know who those people are. So who's going to pay them? And then some allegedly the girl had said that it's in regards to some kind of token or something. They get a token if you wear it. But okay, when you a token and maybe cash, I don't know. They were saying that the girl got $60 for wearing the shirt the day before. But people need to be cautious about wearing something if you really don't truly believe, because you got to understand they say New York is expensive, and New York is expensive. Hello, hello. Good morning, good morning. Press 3 if you knew where you're watching from. Press 3 if you knew where you're watching from. Press 5 if you've been here before and where you're watching from. And press 1 if you're watching from a phone. If you're watching from a phone, please double tap the screen to hit the like button. If you're watching from a phone, please double tap the screen to hit the like button. And thank you. Thank you. Let's get the likes up, you guys. Okay, so many people are talking about the case, and many people are sometimes hit the like button. Okay, thank you, thank you. In New York, you're from New York. Welcome, welcome. People are getting it wrong in certain things, and some people are clickbaiting. So if you want some good information, there are great content creators that go live at the end of the night, and they're covering what happened in the case. Now, why would did want his girls to be in court? Several different things that could be happening that could be true. He misses his girls. He wanted to see his girls, but once the information came out, it became too much for his daughters to hear what was happening in regards to their father's life. Maybe certain things they might have was wondering, but a lot of things you got to remember. He went to hotels, right? Hello, New York. Hello, New England. Hello, Scotland. Remember, he went to hotels to do what he do. I don't think a lot of this happened around the house. And the reason why he went to the hotels is because if they were hiring people, he would not want these people knowing where he lived, right? So who was paying for the hotels? Was it Cass? Was it the team? Whatever. But he had a life outside of being around his family. Good morning, Georgia. Hello, hello, hello. Good morning, Utah. Hello, hello, hello. Press one, you guys, to get the likes up. Press one to get the likes up. Just double tap that screen, please. Double tap the screen. So you got to realize Diddy had a life outside of his children. Recently, it was posted that the girls went to prom. They were happy this is their last week in school. So there's a lot that's going on. Now, the sons have still been supporting him through the court case. The sons have been supporting him. Who are the sons? Quincy, Justin, Christian. They have still been in the courthouse, and allegedly the mom. Okay. So I think it was kind of cringy for the daughters to be there. Now, it's being reported that Cassie's husband was pretty much there for her pretty much through most of it. Now, I don't know if Cassie's mother's going to have to testify. I don't know if Alex Fine, Cassie's husband's going to have to testify. So the mom could hit the stand. Cassie's husband could possibly hit the stand. We don't know, but we'll have to see. On the last day, towards the end of the day on Thursday, they said, who are your next people that have to testify? So we knew Dawn was coming. Now, if you guys did not catch it, on that Friday, Cassie spoke, a person that was there when Diddy got arrested, and Dawn spoke. So three people spoke on Friday. There was things that were found in the room when Diddy got arrested. There was an agent that took the stand in regards to his arrest. So we talked about that. Now, they weren't happy in regards to what Dawn said, because they're saying Cassie said nothing about Dawn. Well, why would Cassie mention all the people that's been around her and Diddy? I don't think Cassie is going to be able to mention that. Now, they may have to go back and say Cassie always mentioned different celebrities would be around us when these acts would happen. You gotta watch the play in regards to Diddy's in jail. Diddy's on trial, but everybody is talking about Cassie and what her parts were. Famous, rich people will have people do things for them, and that's the thing that people need to realize. You understand? Okay. Um. Okay. Okay. All right. So there's a lot that's going on. Okay. So this is the second week, and many people are talking about the court case, and we're going to get into a clip and some things I've been listening to. Hold on one second. It was that. Oh. Okay, let's go here first. And you got to realize Cassie went to rehab, and she's under treatment in regards to the things she experienced. And think about this, you guys. What Cassie went through, she kept going back, but she was also sought out. She was also sought out by Diddy and his team. Come back, we won't release this. He would do things, take her phone, take her car, do different things. So, time she tried to leave, and we have to remember the time she tried to leave a FO, what happened when she got tried to get in the elevator. So we can only imagine the things that she experienced. So she was probably always thinking, if I don't do this, he's gonna do this, and I don't want to make him mad. He's so kind with me if I always do what he says. You understand what I'm saying? So there was a lot of toxic situations going on between Cassie and Diddy. Period. Mothers teach their daughters different. Being healthy, safe relationship, it's important because you got to realize the messages in between Cassie and Diddy is being released. Oh, I miss you. Can we do this? And Diddy's like, oh, this person's available. And see, a lot of people aren't talking about that either. When Diddy's texting Cassie, oh, so and so is available, that is communicating with her that somebody's communicating with him as well. Okay, I'm thinking about flying out. They were plotting and planning things together, but he wanted her to do things so his hands would not get dirty. But the issue is, and this is the other thing that people aren't talking about, y'all got to remember the first few days of testimony were people outside of Cassie, and people aren't talking about that either. People got on the sand outside of Cassie. People aren't talking about that. Okay, so let's get into this video in regards to what transpired. Hold on. And defense of the government did, interestingly enough, the government ended up running. Let's hear from an ex-Fed that's talking about the court case, okay? Defense against the defense to defend their government witness, aka Cassie. Okay. After that blunder, they went into let's see here, her treatment at a facility called Will House. Okay, and basically she was subject to a bunch of different therapies. She did neurofeedback. She did it 5 to 6. I don't know what you're saying, but I've covered this for so long. I hope you're being kind in the comments. Be kind in the comments. This whole trial is going to be going on for 4 to 6 weeks. This is serious, y'all. When they go after somebody, they raided his homes. They raided his homes. And there Hollywood. Do I need to say anything else? Cat Williams did not lie. People are going to be exposed. Hollywood needs to be cleaned up. Real talk. Hollywood needs to be cleaned up. Real talk. Let's continue. Fair use reaction clip. Times total. She did it once a week while she was there. She was there for a little over a month. She did EMDR, which is another thing that, and also something called somatic, which basically helps her reimagine traumatic experiences and kind of go and get over them. Will House treats sex addiction, compulsion, love addiction, drug addiction, a bunch of shit. And she was there for a bit. Okay, so they went over her recovery over there. And they also went over how she got off of opiates in 2022. At Will House, she was given a questionnaire of hundreds of questions. And then they showed a text message from 2014, or no, sorry, January of 2016. And she says to Diddy, I liked me better in the Bahamas. Sorry, I've been upset. I'm frustrated with myself. I'm depressed. I love you. Go have fun. Diddy says,
Yeah, because I love you, and sex with you means a lot to me. I love you too. Do you know? Diddy says, you know, we have a lot of freak-offs. We need to have a proper freak-off without ketamine. Don't be mad. A successful freak-off.
So he's telling her he doesn't want to be on a certain substance to have the FO. Let's continue. Fair use reaction clip.
Without ketamine. So they use a lot of ketamine. The drugs that Diddy and Cassie used, guys, were a bunch of
Hold on.
Were a bunch of recreational drugs. Okay.
Like the video, like the video. Press 3 if you knew where you're watching from. Press 3 if you knew where you're watching from. Press 5 if you've been here before where you're watching from. And also, don't forget to subscribe. Subscribe to the page and turn on your notification. Let's continue. Fair use reaction clip.
Used GHB, cocaine, ketamine, ecstasy, Molly, yeah. Those are a bunch of party drugs, basically, is what they use. Oh, and they use Percocets and oxycodone quite a bit as well. They were both addicted to opiates heavy, especially Cassie. Cassie was addicted to opiates very bad.
Hello, Illinois.
Let's see here.
Hello, New York.
And then they went back looking at text messages from 2010, how, you know, they were so romantic with each other, etc. How she wanted to do these freak-offs. Cassie, and then also they went over the breakup with Gina. So they talked about how Gina was someone that Cassie didn't like, and Diddy would lie and get back with her, even though he said that he wasn't with her, to Cassie. And they ended up coming to a head in about 2015, where she broke up with him while she was filming in South Africa because she saw a video of him and Gina together. Okay, and that's why they ended up getting back together.
Hello, Philly. Hello, South Carolina.
So getting back together again in 2016, hence the whole event that happened in March of 2016. So they break up in 2015 when she's filming the movie, right? They get back together in January of 2016. Then the event happens in March 2016. And then they take a break after that, and then they get back together again. As you guys can see, very toxic and adversarial relationship.
So at times they did break up, and I don't know why people aren't reporting that either. Hello, South Carolina. Welcome. There's about 656 in the building. If I could please get 600 people to please subscribe and turn on the notification. Can I please get 600 people to double tap that screen to hit the like? It lets everyone know we're live. 600 people to double tap the screen. Double tap the screen. Just double tap the screen, you guys. Please double tap the screen. Let's get the likes up. I'm up early bringing y'all this TTT. Let's continue. Fair use reaction clip. Good morning, everyone.
They're going back and forth with each other all the time. Okay. Crazy stuff. Guys, we got about 3,000 y'all ninjas in here watching. So
like the video. Let's continue.
Oh, do me a favor. Like the video also. Let me
like the video. See, it's important. We always tell people gotta like the video. Hello. Good morning. Hold on.
Let's crack that 1,000. Crazy stuff. Hey, by the way.
Thank you for hitting the like. Let's continue. Fair use.
All right, we hit the 1K. All right. So Cassie broke up with Diddy after the Gina photo, okay, came out. That was pretty much like the last straw, kind of the last straw. She started dating her husband in 2018 after telling Diddy it's over. However, keep in mind that she was still seeing him periodically. They were still doing freak-offs and shit. So despite the fact that they were done, allegedly, they were still doing freak-offs and talking, okay? So she still communicated with Diddy after saying it's over, and this was often a relationship dynamic. Now, she saw Diddy in August of 2018 for dinner. He told her to go with him to Burning Man. They had been there before. From her perspective, they were no longer together. Cassie says, I just don't trust anymore. I promised I wouldn't be with you if we do that again. You wanted me to be a machine. The test shot put the nail in the last shot or put the last nail in the coffin was Gina. She never went away. Okay, so again, from her perspective,
so Cassie was really upset about the Gina situation. So it's a good thing that Alex Finn came into Cassie's life. He got her out of that toxic situation. We didn't really hear of a toxic situation before Diddy. We didn't really hear of a toxic situation after Diddy. She had a toxic situation with Diddy. Let's continue. Fair use. Reaction clip.
They weren't together. They were seeing, and she was seeing her current husband at the time, this guy named Alex, a personal trainer. Okay? Diddy, so they went out to dinner. Okay? They went out to dinner in August of 2018.
Hold on.
We've never seen it.
Hold on, because there's so many people in here. There's something else I need to bring to y'all. There's something else. Hold on. There's something else I need to bring to y'all. Hold on. I was watching and I need to bring y'all to TTT. Okay.
Hey, Diddy's a really bad person. He's a sexual degenerate. He turns violent against women that he's dating.
But in terms of racketeering or sex trafficking and all
Like the video, like the video. Let's continue. Fair use reaction clip.
that, none of that is being addressed. And I think there's probably a good chance that Diddy either walks or the jury just convicts him, hey, you're a bad person. But in terms of the actual sex trafficking, and he's this ringleader of this sexual exploitation deal, they're not proving that case, and I'm not sure if they have an interest in even arguing that case. At this point, Glenn, 4 or 5 days into the trial, I think they raided Diddy's home to strip him of his power and leverage. And
now, many people have said that about 3 or 4 months ago. Did they do this to strip him of the power that he had over a lot of people? He had a lot of tapes and videos. Was he trying to blackmail people? We don't know. Can't confirm or deny. Let's continue. Fair use reaction clip.
Blackmail material. And then all this is really about is taking away Diddy's leverage and handing it over to the Department of Justice or whoever is responsible for this, or stripping him of the most damaging information he had on key people that they don't want harmed.
Good morning.
In terms of a serious criminal prosecution of Sean Combs, that's not what's transpiring here.
Well, that was a mouthful. I need my tinfoil hat for that one. What the hell? So wait a minute. You're saying that maybe he was an operative, or if he wasn't an operative, he was collecting stuff on people, and now the government wants that to either protect those people or to have the power over those people?
Good morning, good morning.
And to strip Diddy of his power. To me, at this point, 4 or 5 days in, and based on what they're arguing, yesterday, they basically argued that his girlfriend, Cassie Ventura, and I'm talking about the prosecution, argued that she was the one that paid the sex worker. I mean, this trial is a farce. It is proving that Diddy is a sexual degenerate. Diddy is violent towards women he's dating. But in terms of, this major sex trafficker and all that, no, they're not even attempting to argue that. And so I think that Diddy, being a bit of an idiot, probably got too full of himself and started threatening the wrong people with the information he had.
See?
And someone needed to put him in his place. Like,
See?
no, you're an operative, you're a tool, you're an asset. You're not some ringleader. You haven't ascended to a place of power where you can actually use this information to start blackmailing people. And so they've stripped him of his information. They've totally destroyed his reputation. And, again, maybe this jury will be so repulsed.
Like the video, like the video. Double tap the screen, you guys, for me. If you're watching from a phone or a tablet, please double tap the screen to hit the like. Let's get the likes up to 500.
By Diddy, which they could be, that they'll just convict him of something that hasn't been proven in court.
A lot of people don't know that I'm a painter, and I gave up painting because of demoralizing pain in my hand.
She's gorgeous, though. I mean, he liked a gorgeous woman on his hand. Period. Fully pregnant. Gorgeous. Let's continue. Fair use reaction clip. +3 if you knew where you're watching from. +3 if you knew where you're watching from. There's about 1,017. Please subscribe. Let's get to 37K. Let's get to 37K. Let's continue. Fair use. Gorgeous.
People like that because I'm just telling you, if you watch the case or what's transpiring in the court, you can't watch it but follow it. They're just basically arguing, hey man, this guy is a pervert, and him and his girlfriend did some really perverted things. They're not proving a serious criminal case, and so now I have to go, well, what was the motive? What was the big raid? They raided this guy like he was Pablo Escobar.
I know.
And now they're in court arguing that he's Hugh Hefner? No, that's not what we were promised. That's not what, you don't do a raid like that. Just, this guy's Hugh Hefner. He's hosting sex parties at his house. They raided him like it was Escobar, and right now, 4 or 5 days in, maybe Diddy's Bill Cosby, but that's it.
I have to tell you, I think I'm more disgusted by your answer, if it's true, if it's right, than I am by Diddy and what he was doing, what I've heard in testimony, which is disgusting and despicable. But I think I'm more disturbed by the answer of this, I own these people, you don't own these people. My gosh, you want to talk about a plantation?
It's the only...
You want to talk about plantation. He gonna make another reference in regards to African American people, which I did not like, but I like the content of the other guy that's speaking. Fair use. There's about 900 people in the building. Please subscribe and turn on the notification. There's about 917. Please subscribe and turn on the notification. Let's continue. Fair use reaction clip.
Thing that makes sense to me at this point, Diddy is, again, he's some talentless rapper, from a very questionable background, and should never, again, when you build a system as corrupt as the globalists have, very corrupt people rise to power.
Yes.
And people that shouldn't have power end up with power. And Diddy is potentially one of those people. And somewhere it's like they created Frankenstein. Well, how do you kill Frankenstein? This is how you do it.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning.
Well, and when's this trial supposed to end? How much longer?
It's supposed to be like 6 weeks. And again, there's part of me that thinks like this is a distraction. This is sensational and just intended to, hey, go look over here.
Diddy and baby oil and look at all these sensational sex stories. But there's no real meat here.
Y'all gotta realize he did stuff after Cassie too, though. There's 1,000 people in the building. Can you please subscribe and turn on your notification? Please subscribe and turn on your notification. He did stuff after Cassie. It continued. It just wasn't with Cassie. Let's continue. Fair use.
There's no substance here. And, is rap music in that industry nihilistic and perverted and sexually degenerate? Yes, we knew all that.
Good
We don't need
morning.
a trial to prove that.
And you can't go to jail for that.
No. Well, you can.
Well, yeah, I mean, you can if it gets so perverted in your slavery.
No. What I mean by that is we've seen
Slavery. Y'all catch that?
by the defendant. That it just doesn't matter what the government's arguing or whatever. And that he may go to jail just for being a horrible, awful person. And no one's going to feel sorry for him.
Good morning.
That's the case. But in terms of some sex trafficker, again, I just don't see it at this point.
So this goes to what, because my question has been, why are you not going after anyone else but Diddy? Because he couldn't have done all of this by himself.
Okay. So let's listen to what he has to say in regards to why is it only Diddy? Let's listen. Fair use reaction clip. Listen, y'all.
So why is he the guy? And it's the same story as Epstein. They're only talking about him and, Maxwell. That's it. Nobody else. Haven't heard even a name of anybody else.
Like the video, fair use, reaction clip. Press 3 if you knew where you're watching from. Press 3 if you knew where you're watching from. Like I said before, he's innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. It's not me to decide. It's up to judge and jury. Let's continue. Fair use, reaction clip.
Let me differentiate, from my perspective, the difference between Epstein and Diddy, and based on what's been argued in court, we're not even seeing them suggest that Diddy was doing this with underage people so far. And, the Epstein part is about underage and it's child sex trafficking and all that. We haven't even gotten there with Diddy. We spent the first 4 or 5 days talking about the sexcapade of him and his girlfriend, and they tried to paint her as a victim, but she looked like a willing participant so far in court.
But this is why this is disturbing me, because if what was said about these parties, it does lead to it involves children, it involves drugs that people pass out, and then there's rape and everything else.
On
top of that, probably poor language, is the idea that they're both, Diddy and Epstein are both operatives for some political or governmental entity or group of people that are trying to control people and keep them in play.
Yeah, and James Comey's daughter, who's on the prosecution team, she's not going to argue that. Because they're not going to go in, or maybe later in the trial, because Diddy certainly was someone that was out there promoting the Democratic Party, vote or die. He was certainly a political operative for the Democratic Party.
Y'all remember that?
And even in opening statements or whatever, based off my understanding, none of that's being argued. That his political.
What's also not being argued while she was under the blanket, what transpired, different things. Did she ever become pregnant with his child and didn't have to make a decision? There was a lot that wasn't covered. Do you understand? Fair use, reaction clip. Let's continue.
Involvement, his political engagement, none of that's being put on the table.
Why did you have her still doing FOs if she wasn't feeling well and if her health wasn't well? Let's continue. Fair use, reaction clip. They were on substances, making poor decisions. Period. Fair use, reaction clip.
They're keeping this in a very safe space of, hey, look at how sexually perverted Diddy and his girlfriend were.
I hate this. I absolutely hate this. Because if we don't clean this kind of stuff up, we have no chance of survival. It's like the stuff that was happening with the Muslim pedophile rings over in England, where everybody knew what was going on. And I'm not saying we know over here what's going on, but over there, it just became so obvious, and the government was just covering it up for it because it served their purposes, whatever those purposes might have been. And you can't have a civilization, you can't have a society that is cohesive at all if these kinds of things are just not taken care of. If they're just if special favors are paid to both sides and just make it go away, you don't have a real system of government.
Y'all got to realize he's in jail. She's not. They're coming after him and anybody that was involved with him, you guys. Cassie's not a victim of. She knew what was going on. She alleged kept the videos. She alleged ordered stuff. He wanted her to do that kind of stuff. Millionaires and billionaires don't get their hands dirty, y'all. Be smart about that. Of course she was a part of it. He didn't want to get his hands dirty, but he was also sending her messages. This person's available, that person available. They were in it together, period. And anybody that takes that stand, they assisted and helped because they worked for him. They were with him. Don't think after Cassie, he was done. He allegedly had the room set up when he got arrested. Let's continue. Fair use. He millionaires and billionaires have people working for them. They want food, they'll call somebody, I want food, or you got to make sure you know my schedule. You do stuff without me telling you. Millionaires and billionaires don't become that way. They have people working for them. Period. Let's be very clear. Cassie knew it, and then remember, when he got with Cassie, he said, "You know, I'm into XYZ." And what does that mean? So then they started doing those things. He would get mad if Cassie was with other people. He wanted to control her. He didn't want her dating somebody else, because what would that mean? He'd have to groom, allege, somebody else to do what she was doing, ordering, setting the room up. How will the payment go? He wanted to control her, so he would keep her in thinking, oh, business, and we got this going on. He would make her want him as well. You can't be with nobody else. Why? If she was to leave him and be with somebody else, he'd have to have somebody else doing what she was already doing, which billionaires don't like to retrain people. They work together, y'all. They were doing this together. And this is the biggest thing. Of course, she had to be the first person. She had to speak last week because of her pregnancy, but they worked together, period. Period. Let's continue. Fair use reaction clip.
Going a step further, Glenn, or just from my perspective, you can't have a society that allows the form of music that Diddy was involved in, that promotes sexual degeneracy and violence and drug use. If that is going to be at the center of American music culture, if that's going to be promoted in Super Bowl halftime shows, and Diddy is going to be
Oh, she knows a lot more than she's saying. She knows a lot more than she's saying, because who else was in the room? Was it famous people? What happened at some of the parties at his house? They're talking about the events outside of. Y'all get that? There's a lot more that's not being said. Was there more? How do I say this? What about the interactions with him outside of her? Hello. What about the interactions with him outside of her? Okay, I'm watching what I'm saying. I'm watching what I'm saying, because y'all know it's being reported that there's other situationship. And do y'all realize too, they're not covering any medical issues she have, any medical issues he have. Why? Because other people could sue them. If you got something and you gave it to me, hello, be smart, y'all. Watch the play. More people are going to take the stand that allegedly was near or by him. More people are going to take the stand. It's not just about Diddy and Cassie. Let's continue.
Powerful figure in politics and in culture. You can't have a society that properly functions.
Jason Whitlock is with us. So what is your solution to that?
Rest in peace if you got blepharoplasty before you
like the video, fair use reaction clip. Like the video, fair use reaction clip.
What is your solution to that?
We have to reapply obscenity laws and quit allowing porn and this type of degeneracy to be protected under allegedly free speech. And, there was a long time in America where, we had obscenity laws.
Let me rewind a little bit to the beginning.
Jason Whitlock, welcome to the program. How are you, sir?
As I'm talking to you, Glenn, so I want the audience to be aware.
Crap, now I can't read his mind.
Like the video.
I think they're holding a trial about, hey, Diddy's a really bad person. He's a sexual degenerate. He turns violent against women that he's dating. But in terms of racketeering or sex trafficking and all that, none of that is being addressed. And I think there's probably a good chance that Diddy either walks or the jury just convicts him, hey, you're a bad person.
Like the video. Okay, y'all heard that. Fair use, reaction clip.
There was a time when we had this, and in the name of freedom, we've now allowed all types of degeneracy and obscenity to go mainstream.
Right, and it was in the name of freedom, because you have no civilization if you're just shooting to the bottom of the barrel. So it was done in the name of.
Okay, yes, she received a settlement from Diddy, $20 million, and then she also received a settlement from the hotel, $10 million. So she, within the last 2 years, Cassie has gained a lot of money. Her career did not take off like she wanted. And okay, so over the weekend I did a video. Was she mad that Diddy gave a lot of things to Young Miami? Was Cassie mad that he was flaunting Young Miami around and she didn't get that same treatment? A show, them being on the show together. Young Miami was around the kids, taking trips together. Of course, Cassie would be around the kids. But was Cassie mad about how Young Miami and Diddy's relationship went? Let's continue. Fair use. Reaction clip.
Freedom as well, and it did keep us free.
There you go. And look, at the, where I go with it is like, well, let's protect the freedom and the innocence of children. Rather than just Hugh Hefner's freedom or Diddy's freedom or whoever runs Pornhub's freedom, I want to protect the freedom and innocence of children. And it's so obvious the consequence of this pornographic, degenerate freedom that we've allowed. But how do you compromise the innocence and the freedom of young people? We've mainstreamed a nihilistic mindset and a perverted, degenerate mindset that is harming the freedom and innocence of children. And so
that is something I could get behind, and saying, there's rules for children and what you expose children to. I'm completely with that. However, how are you going to do that when you've got drag shows in kindergartens?
And again,
okay, they're going far off. Like the video, like the video. There's about 600 in the building. If I could please get 600 people to please subscribe and thank you. Can I please get 600 people to please subscribe and thank you? I had to bring that to you guys because it's talking about the breakdown of the industry. Did he tick people off? And why are things happening the way that they're happening? Okay, so let's go back. Hold on. Let me go back. Fair use reaction clip. Let's continue.
When asked if she has love for Diddy now, the government basically said objection or whatever. So,
were y'all surprised she still got love for Diddy? Let's continue.
Moving forward, right? August 25th of 2018. Now, this is days after the alleged rape and then rekindling of
the
text conversation, okay? And they basically broke up, saying they were both heartbroken, okay? Fast forward to...
I don't got no coffee today, sir.
September 12th.
I really need to sleep anyway, so like...
He was seeing his yoga instructor romantically. And she had heard this from the grapevine. So she said, I assume it's safe for me to date because, as you guys know, Diddy's extremely jealous and he didn't want anyone to date her. Even when they had breaks, they were still talking to each other, still doing freakouts, whatever. So he didn't want her with other people unless he was basically in a corner, it seems.
Told you.
And another big thing, Diddy had a big issue with her dating other celebrities. Very important for you guys to know. He did not want her dating other celebrities because
I told y'all that he didn't want anybody dating Cassie that was bigger than him, more successful than him. He didn't want Cassie to be on anybody else's arm. Let's continue. Fair use reaction clip. There's about 500 in the building. If I could please get 500 people to subscribe, let's hit 37K. 500 people to please subscribe. Turn on your notification. Let's hit 37K. Let's continue. Fair use reaction clip.
It's a status thing and it makes it look bad. One thing I will say about Diddy that I've noticed during the course of this trial is that he did a really good job of covering his tracks, guys. For 20 years.
Covering his tracks.
Doing this shit, nobody had a fucking clue. All right? Anyway. So she messaged him saying, how's yoga? I assume it's safe to date. He's confused when he messages her back. What does yoga have to do with me? He says. She says, I heard you're dating. Diddy denies the dating, saying he's not seeing anybody. Cassie says, maybe you've been dating all along. Clearly she doesn't believe him. Diddy asks, who is he dating? Playing dumb. She tries dropping and says she needs to stop caring. She admits she cared about him still at this point. This is 2018 now, September 2018, okay? Diddy asks to talk about it if she is dating other people. And then Cassie says, if you're in LA next week, we can talk. Okay? Mind you guys, all this communication is after the alleged rape. Okay? She started dating her husband in 2018. So she was seeing her man while still communicating with Diddy. All right? Fast forward to September 26, 2018. They text each other. Do what you do, go public, don't call me. This is what Diddy said to her. You don't get it, let's talk tomorrow. Diddy says, I don't want to have convo if we break up again. I need you to love me. Cassie says, I do love you, I just don't want to be one of your girlfriends anymore. As you guys know, Cassie always had a problem with just being like a freak-off girl. Though she didn't get the benefit of being on the red carpet with him and hanging out and getting in the public eye, he never really spent that much time with her outside of sex, contrary to popular belief. He gave a lot of that time to Kim Porter. And Cassie was always jealous of that.
Yeah.
Okay. So he responds, I need to hold you. Cassie says, let's get up tomorrow. I got studio. Diddy says, can I hold you or are you going to break up with me? She says, tomorrow. Diddy says again, can I hold you? Is it a no or a yes? She says, well, just embrace. And then he says, you still got your humor. Can't wait. She says, can't wait to see you too. Diddy, if I can't know where you live, because he asked her what her address was, I guess, and she didn't give him the address. And he responded by saying, if I can't know where you live, that's too far for me. And she says, I don't know what to say. I choose my sanity. I'm sleeping well and gain weight. And then he says, I respect your sanity. This is Diddy responding. I'm no stalker. Focus on you. Love. Right? And then Cassie says, well, I was looking forward to hugging you. Right? So he kind of cuts it. He does. He says, okay, well, look, I'm not no stalker. You focus on you. Love. And she says, I was looking forward to hugging you. And she goes, I'd rather talk in person. I'm going to call you, pick up. It's important. This is September 26th. Now, we fast forward to September 26th.
So she finally got away and he didn't know where she lived. Did y'all catch that? But then he was like, okay, well, I want to hold you, but I'm not no stalker though. I'm not going to stalk you to find out. But he had been doing that before. He was trying to find out where she lived. This time he couldn't find her. Did y'all catch that? And then when he said, okay, fine, you don't want to hug or meet up? Okay. And then Cassie was like, okay, well, I thought we were going to hug. Did y'all catch his play? Mind games, mind control. Let's continue. Fair use reaction clip.
They had sex that night. She got a FaceTime call from who? Her fucking now husband, Alex. While they were fucking. Or while they were in bed together. Whether they were actually smashing when the phone call came, but the point is that he FaceTime called her while she was in bed with Diddy. She denied the FaceTime call. She told Diddy she had a great night. Diddy saw the call. Okay? Her current husband knew that she was with Diddy. She doesn't know. So the defense attorney asked her, does your current husband know that you were with Diddy? She responded, she doesn't know if he knew. Alex figured out she had sex with Diddy. She ignored the FaceTime call. And then she claimed.
Now, will her husband stay with her? He may, because she got all this money now. 20 million plus a 10, 30 million. She just became a millionaire within a 2-year period. He may stay. He may be like, okay, that's the past. You dealt with that. You were on substances. He might chuck it up to her being on substances. Her dating both her and Alex and Diddy. He might just say, okay, I'm with a woman that's now we have 2 children. He might want to stay for the money and the children. Real talk. Let's continue. Fair use reaction clip.
Her husband had punched the wall when she told him that Diddy raped her. And this was the month prior. Okay? She kept talking to Diddy after sex on September 27th. Okay? October 5th. Diddy says, I'm going to fall back. Call me when you need me. Cassie says, I'm lost without you. November 15th, 2018. Kim Porter passes away. Cassie went to the memorial in Georgia. She flew there. November 19th.
Weren't y'all surprised that she went to the memorial? R.I.P. to Kim Porter. R.I.P. to Kim Porter. Let's continue. Fair use reaction clip.
2018. Diddy says to Cassie, you just left me. I needed to leave for my grandma, she responds. You compared me to Gina and said Kim was a soulmate. So basically, Diddy posted after Kim Porter died that she was a soulmate. That pissed Cassie off. I love you, but I got to go to my family. This is Cassie talking to Diddy. Hit me if you need me. Love you too. And she admits to understand that that post that Diddy had really hurt her feelings, and he got back with Gina. So
he's saying R.I.P. to Kim Porter. He's saying Kim Porter was his soulmate, and then he was with Gina. So he was playing in Cassie's face. She was tired of it. But Cassie, you was with your husband. You was with Alex. So why would you even care? You got a decent man. There's no drama, no issue. But sometimes it's hard for women to break up with a guy. It is hard. It would seem hard for her because she couldn't almost let go. But at some point, she had to let go because I'm sure Alex was finding out that she was still talking to Diddy, which could have caused an issue. He could have broke up with her. Y'all realize that, right? Let's continue. Fair use.
When Diddy posted that Kim Porter was his soulmate, she said, what was the 11 years about? If Kim Porter was your soulmate, what was I doing these past 11 years? She felt betrayed. She said on the stand she never saw Diddy after that memorial service. People tried to get her to contact Diddy again, Laura London, Deontay Nash, but it never happened. And she ended up getting married later. So after she got married, Diddy reached out a bunch of different times, right? Sending love, right? So in 2019, he reached out to a bunch of times and she didn't respond really, okay? Basically, in the defense showed this. Sending love, congrats, you're going to be a beautiful mother.
Oh, wait, you feel like the husband should sue her and take the money. Oh, my goodness. Let's continue. Fair use. Press 3 if you knew where you're watching from. Press 3 if you knew where you're watching from. Press 5 if you've been here before where you're watching from. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Let's continue.
Cassie would send short replies like, thank you, God bless. Diddy would say, had a dream about you, just sending love, God bless. He's saying congrats when she's having children because at this point she's married, she has kids. 2020, he reaches out to her again saying, hey, hope all is well. She says, thank you. He says, love, how's your family? Just checking up on each other. And he drops a bomb on her, right? He sends her a positive message, and he says, this is in May of 2020.
Good morning.
He says, and I think I wrote down the full message here somewhere. Basically, I'm summarizing it for you guys.
Are y'all surprised she kept texting him?
But basically what he did was, he told her that she was his ride or die. He loved her. He would like to talk to her one day for closure. He says that she's a queen. She was one of the best women and is one of the best women in the world. And he actually takes accountability. He says, I hope you don't hate me.
Hello. Good morning, Africa. Good morning, everyone. Press 3 if you know where you're watching from. Press 3 if you know where you're watching from. There's about 420 in the building. Can I get 400 people to please subscribe? Let's hit 37K. Let's hit 37K. Let's continue. Fair use.
And I hope we can have a sit down in closure one day. And she actually responds to it. And she says, sorry, I had to gather my thoughts. That blew me away. I wouldn't be at this beautiful point in my life without you. and she goes on and says positive things about him as well. And this is important, guys, because at this point it's 2020. Okay, they haven't seen each other for almost 2 years. So she's saying that she's at this beautiful point in her life because of Diddy, right? So the defense was using this to say, like, look, you're saying good things about him. And the other thing that she said on the stand.
Are y'all surprised the messages were so pleasant? I was. When women break up with men, those messages be brutal. Did they only show the kind ones? Let's continue. Be kind in the comments. YouTube will delete your comments. Be kind. Let's continue. Fair use reaction clip.
The reason why she responded to text that way is because it was the first time that he like acknowledged her and like kind of took accountability for wronging her. So this was very important to her. And there's no sound, guys.
People get in the comments and be telling people this. Let's continue. Fair use.
Things I need to do. So anyway, back to what I was saying. Okay, audio's muy bueno. Okay. Let's see here. So yeah, so they with Cassie, right? When it comes to this, so when he sent this message to her in May of 2020, basically praising her, saying that she's a great woman, she's a great mother, she was his ride or die, he loves her, she has a special place for him, and he says all these things, and he says, I hope you don't hate me, right? And he said that he's been doing like some soul searching and all this other stuff, and he's like, done some work on himself. Like, she really appreciated that, and that's why she said, hey, I had to gather my thoughts and respond, and that's when she said, I wouldn't be in this beautiful place without you, blah, blah, blah. And the defense made sure to accentuate that wait, so you have to gather your thoughts, and you still sent that to him? This is after the rape. Because she raped her. Conversation with him. She continued to meet up with him, and then they had sex after that consensually, and her boyfriend at the time, who's her husband now, fucking FaceTime. Insane. And fucking.
So people are upset because they were saying that he took advantage, and she still met up with. And she was dating Alex. So Alex had to sit in the courtroom and listen to all that. Let's continue. Fair use.
Insane, chat. Insane. Red pill shit all over this, man. Red pill shit all over this. This case is like red pill, truth bombs getting thrown everywhere, law enforcement shit, true crime. It's a combination of everything. Holy. So, guys, like the video, by the way. We only got 1.5K likes. Only got 1. We should be at like 3. This is my third show for you niggas. Let's see here. And we still got more heat.
Double tap the screen, you guys, to hit the like. Double tap the screen to hit the like.
So next, so she says they never had that sit down and closure. She still battled with addiction. She left Willow House summer of 2023. Her and her husband moved into her parents' house with her kids and parents. Okay, so now the government segues. So once they got done with the text messages and her meeting up with Diddy and the whole FaceTime call, etc. Because bro, even I said in court, I was like, holy shit, she's cooked. Right? I said, niggas started laughing because like everyone was like gasping when they found out that she was fucking Diddy and her man FaceTime called her. Right? I wish I was in the courtroom to look at it and see. He probably turned red, bro. Because I'll tell you guys this: the past 2 days when I was in the courtroom, I wasn't in a man courtroom today. Some bullshit happened, but he was like turning red, bro, and the guy like was clearly uncomfortable. So anyway, hold on a second, chat. Let me.
Yeah, I didn't like that she cheated on Alice either, because what they were doing and how they were doing it, and not having umbrellas and protection, that kind of concerned me. You know what I'm saying? If y'all had an FO, she could have alleged gay something to Alex. You know what I'm saying? Some dude that's trying to take her out of a toxic situation. Most dudes wouldn't have stayed. Real talk. She wrote the book. She got counseling. Most dudes wouldn't have stayed. Real talk. You're in court pregnant talking about your ex, and he's on trial. Real talk. Let's continue. Fair use reaction clip.
We got. Let's see here. We got 5K on Twitter. Shout out to you niggas watching on Twitter as well.
Let's continue.
From that angle. So she was making music with Matt Testa, and then she did the lawsuit. And after she won the lawsuit and settled for the $20 million, guess what she did? She canceled the tour. And the defense kind of just put that out there for the jury, right? And just so you guys know, when the whole rape thing came out and it kind of like was shown that she met up with Diddy and she had sex with him after, jurors were like physically like perturbed by that. Okay, they're like, what the fuck, like, bro? Did you rape me? Did you not? He came to your house, hit him up the day after with a fucking heart, like, and then you guys meet up after, you guys smash, you guys are meeting up at parties and shit. What's going on here, right? So this was also revealing that she canceled her tour, her world tour, because she was going to different places after she won the $20 million. Okay, and then the day that the video went viral, the one I showed you guys about the Intercontinental where she got attacked by Diddy, she posted on Instagram.
Yo, chat, this is the longest like 8 minutes of my life, bro. Jesus Christ.
So people were surprised that she canceled the tour. I don't blame her. She got the money, and then to be on tour and be away from her children, she said she didn't want to be away from her children. I would have canceled the tour too. That's just like somebody winning the lottery, and then people expect you to go back into work, winning big money from the lottery. You know what I mean? Then you expect it. Oh no. And then I'm wondering if she got sued for canceling the tour. You know what I'm saying? But to have a tour is not cheap. So she must have had a lot of upfront money to to go on tour, or whoever she was signed to. You understand what I'm saying? So Other people will testify this week. This is week 2. We will cover what's going to happen in court. A lot has transpired. A lot has happened. And a lot of people feel the way about Diddy and Cassie. It was a toxic situation, and they were on things, you guys. It wasn't healthy. So talk to your mothers, talk to your daughters, because you figure his daughter sat in court. People are like, dude, why you got your daughters in your courtroom like that? They still young, you know? Hold on. Fair use reaction clip. I don't know. A lot of people going off. Why's your daughters in the courtroom? Okay. Okay.
At the testimony at the Sean Diddy Combs racketeering and sex trafficking trial as former girlfriend Cassie Ventura took the stand, and what's to come this week. Joining us is ABC News legal contributor Brian Buckmeyer. Brian, thank you for being here. So how well is the prosecution laying out its case? Ex-girlfriend Cassie Ventura, she gave some riveting and graphic testimony over 4 days, but did it move the needle in regards to the racketeering or sex trafficking charges against Combs?
So I'm sorry to be the attorney and say yes and no to that question. And the reason why I say that is I think Cassie Ventura, we've been calling her the star witness. In my mind, she is the star victim. Her testimony was impactful. She was completely credible. I don't think there's a single word or statement that she made that people thought, she's making it up. But the reason why I say no to this is right now the defense has done a very good job of positioning this argument of, yes, she was abused. No one is questioning that. But was it abuse because of a domestic violence relationship, or was it abuse for trafficking? I think the star witness in this case will be someone from Combs' inner circle, as they say, that says, no, this was not a toxic relationship. We knew we were trafficking her. Here are the conversations outside of Cassie's purview that she doesn't know about, but we did. I'm waiting for that witness, and I think that's when we know how strong this case is.
So that will definitely be something to watch. And you were also in the courtroom last week, and I wonder just how did the jury react to this testimony from Cassie Ventura and some of the evidence presented?
So Cassie is this very soft-spoken individual and very matter-of-fact when she talks about a lot of the allegations, but there were parts of the testimony that you can see jurors really had a reaction to. When she broke down and talked about the work that she had done for her own rehabilitation, she began to cry. Near the end of her testimony, she again cried again. And then, of course, when they saw 7 different stills of those freak-offs, as stoic as many of the jurors were, we saw deep gulps, kind of sitting back in their seat, eyes.
So the jurors could see different things, still shots of the FOs. The people in the that was sitting there could not. So the jurors are seeing more things and understanding more things of what transpired, what happened. But this is the biggest thing. Decisions were made, you guys. Decisions were made. And then was there other girls that did what Cassie was doing and Cassie didn't know in another city, state? After Cassie, who took this on in regards to things he wanted? Let's continue. Fair use reaction clip.
Widening up, and so we saw some very visceral reactions to some of the evidence that got put into this case.
Cassie's husband was actually in the courtroom, but he left at one point during your testimony.
Yeah, so I'm sitting in court, and actually, I was closer to Cassie's husband than I am to you right now, and you can see like the back of his head. And I know a lot of the journalists and people are saying, well, he was so angry about the testimony. Yes, to some degree. You can see his face turning red. You can see his jaw tightening. Don't forget, this is not just Cassie's husband. This is the father of her 2 children and third on the way. You can see him staring at Combs at many times. But the reason why he ended up leaving is not because I think the testimony got so difficult for him, but the defense is anticipating to call him as a witness in the future. And so a potential witness cannot listen to the testimony of another witness on the stand out of fear of changing or altering their testimony based on what they heard. So he did have to step out, but I don't think he's mad about the part that he stepped out in, because it was about the allegations of rape intercourse that Cassie had with Combs after that.
Just a quick follow-up on that. That's interesting, the dynamic, because we also saw some of Diddy's kids, children leave the courtroom too, but it seems like this is a bit different because of the potential testimony, right?
Absolutely. And I think you got to remember the time frame here, right? So it's specifically Combs' daughters left, his twin daughters who were born in 2006. They were, at the time that they left, we were talking about allegations of Cassie having an intimate relationship with Combs shortly after their birth. At the time that their mother, Kim Porter, broke up with Combs. And of course, you're hearing these very grotesque allegations about your father. So I think it's a matter of, this is the time that my parents broke up. This is shortly after I was born, and I don't want to hear about my father in this light. I think it might have been a mixture of that. And the daughters never actually came back after leaving, I think, the second day of Cassie's testimony, and she stayed on for another 2 days.
This is all really important context that we can only get from someone inside the courtroom, Brian, so thank you. But what about the latest witness to testify, Dawn Richard? Her allegations were also contained in her civil lawsuit against Diddy, which he broadly denied. What kind of impact do you think her testimony is having?
So she was the last one to testify on Friday, and we expect her to start back up again on Monday, but she has a very limited role here. She's talking not about the allegations, as you pointed out, about in her civil lawsuit as to what she claimed Sean Combs did to her, but specifically about an allegation of the violence that Sean Combs put upon Cassie, where Cassie was making breakfast at a scene. Sean Combs got very mad, said, "Where's my eggs?" Came down, took the pan, and started swinging it at Cassie. The impact here is that this isn't just violence for the sake of freak-offs. This is violence for the sake of the relationship and also the seriousness of this violence as well that Don Richard saw firsthand. Like I said, she's going to continue to testify on Monday.
So many details in this case. Brian, thank you so much for bringing us that. And make sure to follow the...
Yeah, you guys. So that's the other thing. Dawn mentioned what she noticed in regards to what Diddy put Cassie through. And that's kind of sad that, and some people were saying, did Diddy do that to Cassie to let Dawn and the other bandmate know, watch what you do, because this could be you. And that's alleged what was kind of said. They were saying Dawn and the other woman felt like if he could treat his girlfriend like that, he might touch me like that. So it put fear in the women's hearts in regards to what was going on. So that's serious. That's very, very serious. Let's continue with this one. Hold on one second. Fair use reaction clip. Yeah, so that's the one biggest thing. And then Diddy had said, you know, what happens around me, stay around me. Because if you say something, you know, you could end up being MIA. So he might have did things to show different people, this could be you. You step out of line. That's what some people were saying.
Here we go. Another day at court. My goodness. Is Diddy's defense getting to Cassie?
There was a time that Cassie said she don't want to do it no more. That was probably around the time she was with Alex. Thank goodness Alex came along. Real talk. Because who's to say if she would still be in that situation? She didn't like the Gina situation, though. Let's continue. Fair use reaction clip.
How's her demeanor in court today?
To watch someone who is visibly pregnant sort of take deep breaths at times. She's keeping her cool. Honestly, she didn't cry or anything like that. Obviously, early on in the testimony, there were some things that had her in tears. But today, she's been very...
Press 3 if you know where you're watching from. Press 3 if you know where you're watching from. Press 5 you've been here before, where you're watching from. There's about 430 in the building. Can I please get 400 people to please subscribe and thank you. Let's continue. Fair use reaction clip.
Very calm, very measured, especially considering the audio clip that we heard of her threatening to kill someone. I looked over at the jury box because I was wanting to hear their reaction as we're hearing in real time her voice threatening several times to kill someone because she's concerned about this freak-off video, and the jurors were shocked. I saw the eyebrows raised. I saw them listening, and I think to hear...
Now, she alleged threatened somebody else, but she didn't threaten somebody that was grabbing on her often. Did y'all catch that play? She was threatening someone else about the tapes, but she wasn't threatening somebody that was grabbing on her often. Watch the play. Why did they want to make that known that she was just as did, but she wasn't making no comments like that to him? Hello, y'all. Certain things are left out. Real talk. Let's continue. Fair use.
Her voice in court and see how calm and measured she is, and then to hear that side of her. Again, it wasn't 2014 that this audio clip was something that she recorded, but clearly she's threatening someone who she thinks might release the freak-off video, and she's worried about it.
And the person that she was threatening was one of Diddy's associates.
Correct.
It was one of Diddy's associates, but she's so focused on career. Let me do these FOs. Career. Let me do these FOs. Oh, you got something to me that's going to leak and mess up my career. She was focused really on career a lot and him. He didn't like her to date other people, but he could do what he wanted to do. Y'all catching that? Like the video. Like the video. Double tap the screen, you guys. If you're watching from a phone, press 1. Double tap the screen to hit the like. Just double tap the screen to hit the like. Let's continue. Fair use reaction clip.
Okay. So you saw the jurors' reactions to that audio tape. What was Diddy's reaction? What was Cassie's own reaction when she heard her audio?
She just kind of looked down. I mean, she wasn't, and it was hard for me. I have a great shot of the jury in terms of where I'm sitting. I can see Sean Combs. I have to sort of raise up to look at Cassie Ventura, but she seems to be very calm. I mean, I think she knows that some of this evidence was going to come out. So she's answering the questions, yes, no. When she doesn't remember something, she's very clear about that. But the prosecution, the defense has been trying to poke some holes into the testimony she gave about the alleged rape that she said took place for the end of their relationship.
How are they trying to poke holes in that alleged rape?
I think there was some confusion about the dates. Did it happen in September, October? whatever. But if that really happened, why was y'all still hooking up after? You understand? Like the video. There's about 500 in the building. If I could please get 500 people to please subscribe. Press 3 if you knew where you're watching from. Press 3 if you knew where you're watching from. Press 5 you've been here before and where you're watching from. Let's continue. Fair use. Reaction clip.
The timeline. They're looking at the timeline. They're asking her questions. Well, was it this time or that time? They're also looking at around that same time she was still talking to or dating, as she says, her now husband, Alex Fine. So they're trying to really, in many ways, I think what they're trying to do is question her credibility.
So Cassie was asked about receiving a FaceTime from her now husband while she was having sex with Diddy. Is that again the case of the defense trying to poke holes in her story?
I think that's where it goes back to how much can we trust this person, because they're entering evidence with phone records and different things to show, well, you were with this person at this time, or you sent that message, but yet you were dating this person. This is about a criminal enterprise, and there are several elements to that don't necessarily speak to if she was in bed with Diddy or if she was FaceTiming her now husband. So I think they're trying to use what they can, again, to discredit her overall as a witness.
Good morning. Good
Because
morning.
This is also about beyond a reasonable doubt.
Right. Diddy's personality, his temper has come up, and today his own defense lawyer said, could it have been his bipolar disorder? What was the reaction in the court?
Did y'all know that they were stating that he had bipolar disorder? Like the video, like the video. Good morning, everyone. Let's continue. Fair use reaction clip.
So again, this is the moment where the prosecution's asking Ventura about testimony that she gave. I didn't see a reaction, so to speak, from the jurors necessarily when this issue came up. But again, it speaks to these mood swings that they've been talking about that he has, that Ventura has said 1 minute he could be nice and he could be kind, but with the drugs and with the alcohol, it was a completely different person.
The prosecutors are hoping that Cassie's testimony wraps up today. They're afraid she's going to go into labor over the weekend.
Like the video, fair use. What do you think about the whole situation about Diddy, Cassie? Healthy, unhealthy? Many people, remember, Cassie made a statement and so did Alex in regards to Cassie saved Cassie. Let's continue, fair use. Do you think Alex saved Cassie?
She will be wrapped up today, and what would happen if she doesn't finish her testimony? What would happen to the case?
To watch someone who is that far along in their pregnancy breathe, kind of take their time, ask for breaks. It's not shocking that they want to get her off the stand so she can focus on having her third child.
Yeah, because she could have won the early labor.
Revealed today, and one text message in particular, Cassie writes,
Okay, y'all got to listen to this part because a lot of people didn't report on this. Listen and listen clearly. Let's continue. Fair use reaction clip. Listen.
Lost without you. How damaging was that text message?
Honestly, Rachel, there have been several text messages where she shows that she wants to be with Sean Combs for the rest of her life. We know now that she called herself Cece for Cassie Combs. We know now that she wanted to have a child with him. She saw herself as a wife. So to say those things at this point is not that surprising. But even the defense ended their argument with a text message from 2012, which appears to show Combs saying, I want to do our last freak off. And then she says something to the effect of, I don't want it to be our last freak off. I want it to be the first for the rest of my life. That's what she said. But what was so interesting is on redirect, the prosecution.
Listen, because a lot of people are reporting this. Let's listen.
And show the context of that text where she then says, I don't want to do freak offs anymore.
That's a head spin right there.
It is. And I think
she had said she didn't want to do it no more.
I want to do our last freak off. And then she says something to the effect of, I don't want it to be our last freak off. I want it to be the first for the rest of my life. That's what she said. But what was so interesting is on redirect, the prosecution showed the context of that text where she then says, I don't want to do freak offs anymore.
That's a head spin right there.
It is. And I think you could feel that energy in the courtroom,
right?
Because I looked over at one of my colleagues and I did I write this down correctly? So yeah, I mean, but that's sort of.
So there was times she did leave. There was times she told him she didn't want to do it anymore, and maybe that's why he stepped away and started dating somebody else, allegedly. Let's continue. Fair use. And like I said before, he's innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. A judge, jury's going to have to decide. But Cassie did say she didn't want to do it no more. Let's continue. Fair use. Reaction clip.
what makes this case so interesting, because you have someone who was in this long-term committed relationship, and they say they had breaks at times, but 11 years is not something to sneeze at. And that was a long time that they were together, but it was complicated, it's complex. But Cassie Ventura maintains throughout that she really didn't want to do these freak-offs, that she just wanted to be with Sean Combs.
We're anticipating that on Monday, Don Richard will be taking the stand. What might we expect to hear?
Good morning, Atlanta. Good morning, everyone. You could say good morning and thank you for being here. Good morning. Good morning. Don't forget to subscribe. There's about 450 in the building. Please subscribe and thank you. There's about 559 in the building. Please subscribe and thank you. Let's continue. Continue to hit the like button, you guys. Just double tap that screen for me. Let's continue. They're going to talk about Dawn.
Her testimony.
Yeah, Don Richard was famously in that Making a Band that was created by Combs, and she filed a lawsuit last year, civil suit, saying that she was physically and emotionally
Good morning.
abused.
Wow. More explosive testimony to come.
Absolutely. The book.
Oh, yes.
So,
tell me about the book.
Something else that I thought was interesting is sort of this timeline that the defense laid out. And they showed that Combs and Cassie Ventura had been in contact with each other via text in 2020. This is around the time she had just had her first child. He's congratulating her and saying Frankie's beautiful, so using her daughter's name. And it seemed like they were both sort of having this exchange of sending love and sending light, and I hope your family's well. And one of the last texts Cassie Ventura sent was something to the effect of, I hope one day we'll have an opportunity to talk soon. The defense said, and you never got that opportunity, did you? That was in 2020. Then they built up the case and said, oh, by the way, in October of 2023, you moved back home, is that correct? And she said, well, yeah, I moved back with my parents. You guys have a modest home, your family home where you grew up. And she said, she said, yeah, modest home. So they reiterated, so your mother, your father, your husband, and your two children moved back to Connecticut to move to LA. She talks about, yeah, we were transitioning. We wanted to come to the East Coast. Then they said, where was your financial income? Where was the money coming from? Your husband was a physical trainer. That's correct. She answers the question, yes, he was a physical trainer. They're getting to this idea that money was tight around this time. She moves back home. She's not necessarily...
Well, first off, if she's about to go on tour, Alex would need help with the kids, period. If he's a trainer, he has to work. So I don't think they're thinking about that. Alex has to still work, or he has to be with Cassie as she's on tour. So I don't think they think that the kids need to be somewhere comfortable and safe if she was to tour, if she was to have to testify, if she's going to talk about this book or release the book, she would be, talking about the book. So I don't think they broke that down in a good way. She canceled the tour. So who paid for that? Did she get sued for not going on tour? So let's continue. Fair use reaction clip.
Fairly feeding into that narrative on the stand. But then they go to that November 2023, a settlement is filed in which she winds up getting $20 million, which we now know. But today we learned that the book that she wanted to offer the rights to Sean Combs for $30 million, she called it The Dark Times. For anyone who's been following this story, many of us know that in 2022, Sean Combs at the BET Awards literally shouted out Cassie and said, thank you for holding me down during
the dark
times.
Wow.
Yeah.
Plot twist. That is wild.
But again, it's all about them trying to create this narrative that money was down. She never got the opportunity to have this sit down that she wanted. But to show that things were apparently all good in 2020, almost 2 years after they split up, they're sending each other light and love. And now here we are, 2025. And not only was there a civil settlement, now you've got someone facing criminal charges.
I also found it interesting that when asked if she hates Diddy,
she said, I never hated him.
And
how could you not how could you not dislike somebody that's putting their hands on you? I didn't get that part, y'all. I really didn't. Like the video, fair use reaction clip. How do you not dislike somebody if they're putting their hands on you? Real talk. For years. And playing in your face and dating other women. Hello? Playing in your face and dating other women. Okay, fair use reaction clip. Most women wouldn't put up what Cassie put up with, nor would have dealt with what she was dealing with. So you're paying, she's getting men to have quality time with her, and you're having quality time with other people, plus the man you're dating. Come on. That don't look weird? Come on. Who gonna be in a relationship like that? You gonna let some man do that to you? No, most women
in the States, based in Manhattan.
most women would not allow a man to do that to them. I want to be in a relationship with you. I'm not gonna hire people to be with.
Rose, like trying to get into puffy parties. You had the fire marshals came. I just remember Puff, getting on the mic when they were coming in.
Fair use reaction clip.
Hey, Mr. Fire Marshal, don't shut down the sexy. Don't shut down the sexy. Look at all these honeys here. I'll set you up with the table. What was it like to be moving in his world back then? He really was sort of like the Pied Piper, if you will, of the most elite level, partying of that time. Amy Dubois was the first black.
Okay, once you forgive yourself, you free yourself. I can get that, but I'm surprised there wasn't more messages, and maybe they didn't show them. I'm surprised there wasn't more messages. I'm happy I'm not in that situation no more. I'm happy I'm with a man, and I don't have to be with somebody else to be with my husband. I'm surprised there wasn't more that type of messages. And sometimes people will say, oh, to release, you got to forgive, and you feel better once you forgive. If somebody has treated you really bad, there's been somebody I just don't like. I don't fool with. I don't like, and I don't say I'm gonna free myself from that. No, they were toxic, and anybody around them they're toxic with, I don't fool with them. So I don't forgive. What do they say? To forgive, it frees you. No, I'll never forgive. They're toxic and they love being toxic. So how do you cut that off? Don't fool with that person. I'll never forgive. You can't mess with people I love and continue to mess with people I love. Never, never. Don't fool with me. Don't talk to me. Leave me alone because you're toxic. So I'm surprised Cassie didn't go in on those messages. Real talk. Anytime it was just a general thing, he would just grab her and do XYZ. Y'all remember when she was underneath that blanket? And he was like, you got to get your girl straight. And then he was coming like, come on, babe, get out that blanket. Let's go to the beach. What? And then she experienced injuries, and a plastic surgeon had to patch her back up. So I think people were kind of fearful of saying certain stuff to him too. Let's continue. Fair use reaction clip.
American woman to run a major mainstream magazine in the States, based in Manhattan at a time when hip-hop was at its zenith. Urban culture really ran the city. That's where all, so much of the money was. You had all the finance bros like trying to get into puffy parties. You had all the fashion executives trying to get into puffy parties. Behind the glamour, prosecutors now allege there was a man capable of sexual abuse, violence, and a serious abuse of power. Criminal charges which he's already pleaded not guilty to and strenuously denies. Puff never particularly liked me that much. I wasn't that interesting to him, I think. He was very dismissive. He really reserved that attention for the people that he was either attracted to or the people that he thought were important enough to his business success for him to kind of give that kind of attention to. There was, she says, a tremendous amount of misogyny running through music at the time. Things that, in today's culture would give you a tremendous amount of pause. So many things happened to me. It would be difficult to explain them all, but everything from getting groped at parties to getting locked in a limousine with an urban music executive and having him refuse to let me out until I did whatever he thought I was going to do, which I didn't do. There were just so many things that happened to us, and we didn't have the vocabulary to really understand the degree to which these were problematic. Everything that was happening during that time, it was more of a sort of thread that ran throughout the culture. Because she was able to put some of Diddy's up-and-coming artists in her magazines, she was invited to his parties and says the man she met lacked warmth and seemed complicated. While he was very accepted and even welcomed, by Anna Wintour, for example, and these sort of highest echelons of the fashion world, he was never known for being a calm kind of individual. When he walked in a room, like all of the energy changed. Immediately the area around him would become kind of crowded and with everybody vying for his attention. Did people know not to cross him? Yes.
Yeah. Many people know, and I think that's probably why Cassie doesn't say what she want to really say in messages and voice calls. I think you got to realize, as soon as he got locked up, a lot of people started speaking up, speaking out. There was an alleged lawsuit that just came out, last week or the week before? So many people are speaking up, speaking out because he's in jail, and he's paying a lot of money for attorneys, I'm hearing. It's in the millions, alleged. Can't confirm or deny. Let's continue. Fair use reaction clip.
What makes you say that? Well, the rumors, I guess, of what he can do. There were a lot of people, within within journalism, within media, and also within other industries that were afraid of his influence and also afraid of his temper.
Did you see him lose his cool ever?
Of course, when things at parties wouldn't go his way, or somebody didn't bring him something quickly enough,
See?
or if there was a sort of meeting and...
So that confirms what Dawn said. She saw what happened to Cassie.
You know, the conversation wasn't going his way. He would just kind of, you know, snap. And you know, and he was just not afraid to, you know, yell at whoever was there. There was not a lot of boundaries in his communication, let's just put it that way.
Back then, a ticket to one of Diddy's star-studded white parties was the ultimate invite.
You walk in and it's like nothing you've ever seen before. You would literally be turned away if your outfit was wrong. If he did not sort of tolerate people in his parties that didn't look grown and sexy, as it were. You know, it was just every bold-faced name you could possibly imagine. I mean, it was, you know, Donna Karan and, you know, and Ashton Kutcher and, you know, and Missy Elliott. This gorgeous crowd. His mansion was decked out. I mean, all the furniture was white. You know, there were sort of people dressed as mermaids. You know, in the pool, people were handing out, you know, weed brownies, you know, on silver trays. He was bringing together these sort of elite mainstream crowds along with these elite kind of urban and hip hop crowds.
Diddy seemed to have the golden touch, expanding his music.
So he even wanted to control what people wore at his events. And we get it. White party, be appropriate. You know what I'm saying? But he even wanted to control what was worn to his events. And it wasn't an easy ticket to get to. I think he kept certain people away because they might out him. You know what I'm saying? And like I said before, he's innocent to proven guilty in a court of law. A judge jury is going to have to find out if there's any wrongdoing. Let's continue. Fair use reaction clip.
The business enterprises that in 2022 reportedly took his net worth to £1 billion.
I think that in the Black community, you know, there is a feeling that, you know, if a Black man is successful, you know, you don't want to bring them down because they're not, you know, that many. These are cultural forces that are rooted in the systemic racism that's present in the United States. But I think that these were part of what potentially protected Puffy against people speaking out.
For around 10 years, Combs had a relationship with the singer Cassie, which ended in 2018. Once over, she filed a lawsuit that both parties eventually settled, alleging she was trafficked, raped, drugged, and beaten by the rapper on many occasions, which he denied. And we've since heard her say similar things in court.
The last party that, you know, I ever went to, I think it was a party for post-Grammys, in 2017 or something like that, 2018. And it just, the vibe was very different. He was really kind of isolated in a corner with Cassie, you know, looking very unhappy. Cassie did look very glassy-eyed, and there was a sadness about her energy. You know, whatever was happening between the two of them, I mean, it didn't feel positive. You know, they were sort of holed up in the corner for, you know, almost the entire night. It did feel very different, you know, from the kind of jubilant kind of energy that he projected, you know, in his earlier incarnations.
For Diddy, his freedom depends on how these next few weeks go. His representatives claim he is the victim of a reckless media circus, saying he categorically denies he sexually abused anyone and wants to prove his innocence. In particular...
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Good morning. Press 3 if you knew where you're watching from. Press 3 if you knew where you're watching from. Press 5 you've been here before and where you're watching from. Please subscribe, you guys. We're trying to hit 37K. Please subscribe. We're trying to hit 37K. Like the videos you guys come in. Hold on one second. Like the videos you guys come in. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. I hope all is well. I've been definitely covering what's happening inside the court, outside the court. There's going to be distractions, y'all. There's going to be distractions. Yeah, there's going to be distractions. And we're going to keep an eye on what certain celebrities are doing as well as they travel, as they try to distract. Let's continue.
Everything we know about what's happened in the courtroom in the first week of the United States versus Sean Combs. As for who is on the 12-person jury that will decide the rapper's fate, the prosecution and Combs' defense team agreed to a jury of 8 men and 4 women, as well as 4 men and 2 women as alternates for the trial. In her opening statement, prosecutor Emily Johnson accused Combs of using a sprawling network of employees to carry out illegal acts, like days-long freak-offs, which were detailed in the federal indictment, according to NBC News reporters in the courtroom. She told the jury he sometimes called himself the king and expected to be treated like one to cater to all his desires.
See?
He used his companies to manipulate women, forcing them with male escorts to have sex while he watched. He and his inner circle made sure he got everything he wanted.
See?
Defense attorney Tenny Garagos said in her opening statement that prosecutors were trying to turn consensual sex into sex trafficking. Garagos told the court, "This case is about Sean Combs' private, personal sex life, which has nothing to do with his lawful businesses." She stated that her client was violent, took drugs, and had anger issues, and told the court there will be times during the trial when, quote, "you think he is a jerk. He is mean, but he is not charged with being mean. He is not charged with being a jerk." Garrigo said the evidence is going to show you a very flawed individual, but it will not show you a racketeer, a sex trafficker, or...
Very powerful guy. And I think with the situation that they're in, there was somebody that wanted to take him down several notches, and they've done that. He was a billionaire. Look at Kanye, same situation. Got to billionaire status and basically went to being a millionaire. Diddy, same. Got to billionaire status. Now they're saying he's a millionaire. So these men, celebrity, need to be very careful what they do and who they're around, because somebody's out there trying to take you down a notch. Hello, fair use reaction clip.
Somebody transporting for prostitution. On May 12th, Los Angeles police officer Israel Flores took the stand to testify. He was a security guard at the Intercontinental Hotel when Combs attacked his ex, Cassie Ventura, on March 5th, 2016. Flores testified that he saw evidence of an altercation on the morning in question, and Combs offered him, quote, a stack of money to look the other way. Under cross-examination, Flores said he 100% interpreted the gesture to be Combs trying to bribe him. Flores said on the stand that Ventura was...
You think he's still a billionaire? He has a lot of attorneys, and they want their money up front. Attorneys are expensive, and these attorneys are working a lot. During the trial, before the trial, you have to speak with the judge. These attorneys are expensive. He might still be. I had heard that he's in the millionaire status now. That's what I heard. I can't confirm or deny. But these attorneys are expensive. Oh, they sending their kids to school. Oh, they getting a better house. Oh, they getting a nicer car. Oh, real talk. They sending their kids to college. Oh, for real. These attorneys are expensive. You ever had to sit down with an attorney? It's expensive. They get paid by what? Every 15 minutes, every 10 minutes, every 5 minutes, they are paid. Let's continue. And this is supposed to go on for 6 weeks. Let's continue. Fair use reaction clip.
Scared, adding, she was in the corner, hood on, covered up. I couldn't see her face. She was pretty much in the corner. On the floor was a destroyed flower vase. When Ventura left the hotel, she had a, quote, purple eye, Flores said. Once she was gone, Flores said he and the desk manager went upstairs to remind Combs of hotel rules. Combs thought the manager was recording him on his phone and grabbed it, Flores continued. And when Combs tried to grab his phone, Flores said he pinned Combs against a wall, testifying, we said we are not recording you, and de-escalated the situation. Prosecutors showed the surveillance footage of the attack in which Combs appears to be hitting, kicking, and dragging Ventura that was slowed down from what was published by CNN in May 2024. The defense had previously alleged that the clip was sped up, making the altercation look more violent than it was. The jury was also shown video that Flores recorded on his cell phone when he responded to a call of a woman in distress on the 6th floor. Flores testified that he did not call police at the time because Ventura wouldn't answer questions about what happened and told him she just wanted to leave. Following Flores' testimony, Daniel...
So they were saying Cassie didn't want to call the police. If you know somebody that's in this situation, make sure you get a police report. Make sure you go to the hospital. Make sure you get evidence. Record a situation if you're in a city where you can record stuff to protect yourself. Women, keep an eye on your daughters, sons. Talk to your mothers. Talk to your aunts. There's a lot of things that people go through. Women go through things, and so do men in relationships go through things. Let's continue. Fair use reaction clip.
Philip, who said he was running a male stripper review during the time in question, testified that he was paid, quote, a few $1,000s to have sex with Ventura while Combs watched at Manhattan's Gramercy Hotel in 2012. Philip said that Combs wore a robe, a baseball cap, and a band.
Why aren't people talking about that? Why do Diddy want to watch men have with her? Was other women he dated, was it like that with them too? Why do you want to watch other people, as men say, be down your girl and you off to the side whacking? I gotta be careful what I say. Hello? And then after Cassie's done, then you guys do stuff together. After she's done, then y'all want to connect. And she's supposed to bring you stuff that's released from their stuff, and then you want to rub it on your chest? What? What's really going on, y'all? When you really think about it. Cassie and Diddy was into some stuff. Hello? Hello? Why would you want to see somebody bust down your girl? And why would she sign up for it? Let's continue. Fair use reaction clip. Do y'all know anybody that's doing this? I don't. Gross. 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 And then you were getting people off what kind of list? And then you start working with an agency? And y'all was alleged flying around the country? Gross. Gross. Gross, gross, gross. Let's continue.
Dana covering his face, but he recognized him by his voice. Ventura paid him and said she would tip me when I leave, Philip told the court. We ended up having sex, rubbed baby oil on each other for a couple of minutes. Combs was sitting in a corner masturbating. Afterward, the witness continued, Ventura gave him a couple of thousand more. Phillips said that he was contracted multiple times over the next year to have similar encounters with Ventura and
a lot of power over her. And men that's patting Diddy on the back, they probably as gross as he is. The men that's saying, oh, free him, they about as crazy as he is. The case just started and people are saying, oh, he gonna be all right. What? The trial just started. The trial just started. Hollywood. They will try to figure out how they can humiliate you. Real talk. Let's continue. Fair use. Reaction clip.
Combs at other hotels at their respective homes in New York. He said that Combs recorded him and Ventura having sex once or twice.
Yes, a whole lot of baby oil and not a lot of protection, which is gross. She had sores in the mouth, no. Stomach issues, girly issues, no. They was into some stuff, real talk. You get that money, you start acting cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. Let's continue. Fair use. Reaction clip.
Combs would intervene and have sex with Ventura while Phillip was there. In her 2023 lawsuit accusing her ex of sexual assault and physical abuse,
they were on stuff. So what does that do? It messes with your real thoughts. They were both on stuff. It took her time to get off that stuff. And he was alleged when he got arrested, he had stuff in the room like he was about to do another FO. Cassie was with somebody else. Who was he about to do the FO with, y'all? Before he got arrested, a room was set up like he was about to do another FO. So after Cassie, who did he do his FOs with? It just wasn't alleged Cassie. Alleged, he continued. Alleged. Let's continue. Fair use. Reaction clip.
Ventura alleged Combs forced her to have sex with male prostitutes.
That's
Phillip
crazy.
Testified May 12th that when Ventura didn't join Combs right when he called her on one occasion, Combs threw a liquor bottle in her direction, then grabbed her by her hair and dragged her into the bedroom. Phillip testified, she was screaming, and from the next room, what I heard sounded like him slapping her.
Real talk. Men can't keep putting their hands on women, and women should never put their hands on a man. Real talk. Let's be very clear about that. We do not condone violence on anybody. Mothers, talk to your daughters. I don't wish this on any mother, aunt, nobody. Niece, dudes, check with your nieces and make sure they're in healthy relationships. She probably didn't want to tell her family because she probably didn't want them to go to jail. And really, a lot of people were scared to go to the police. So if you're scared to go to the police, how you going to tell a family member? It seems as if a lot of people were scared to go to the police. Are y'all noticing that? A lot of people were scared to go to the police. Let's continue. Fair use. Reaction clip.
Phillip said he heard Combs say, I tell you to come here, you come here now, not later.
Oily or acne-prone skin? Demand more.
Like the video. Fair use. Reaction clip. That's sad how he would talk to people. And like I said, who wanted to take him down a peg? Who? Let's continue. Fair use. Reaction clip.
Further testified that he overheard what sounded like Combs assaulting Ventura on a separate occasion at the Essex House Hotel in New York. Phillip said, I heard her yelling, I'm sorry. Someone was being slapped around and slammed around the room. And I looked around the corner and I saw Mr. Combs walk out of the hotel altogether without clothes. He might have had a towel on. He testified Ventura came out of the room and jumped into Phillip's lap, saying, she basically tried to convince me that it's okay and I'll be okay. And I said, it is not okay and you need to get help. I tried to explain to her that she was in real danger if she stayed with him. Asked by prosecutor Maureen Comey why he didn't call the police, Phillip testified that he...
Don't forget to subscribe, you guys. Super chats are welcome. We do have memberships over there. Like I mentioned, my page 9 months ago had about 3,000 or 4,000 subscribers. We're almost at 37K, so our page is growing. I like to bring you guys the TTT, and I debunk things. We don't do a lot of the clickbait over here. We bring what's going on. I don't got time to be playing games with folks. Go check out my shorts as well. We did shorts over the weekend. There are protesters allegedly wearing the Free Diddy shirts. That's on them. And allegedly they're being paid $20. We can't confirm or deny who's paying those people that money. Let's continue. Fair use. Reaction clip.
Thought of Combs as, quote, someone with unlimited power. And chances are, even if I did go to the police, that I might still end up losing my life. On May 13th, Combs' ex, Cassie Ventura, took the stand and stated that during their on and off romance from 2007 to 2018, Combs was frequently violent towards her. She testified, yes, there were violent arguments, usually resulted in physical abuse and dragging, different things. He would mash my head, knock me over, drag me, kick me. She said that her injuries were often visible, adding,
okay, y'all, let me tell y'all about something that's being scammed right now. I don't know if you're in other cities. We're gonna sidetrack for a minute. For the last 4 weeks, people have been trying to say, if you owe a toll, there's a scam. People are trying to get you to hit a link and pay a toll. It is fake. Go to your Secretary of State. If you have a toll that need to be paid, take the bill and pay the toll. Don't click no links on your phone to pay no tolls. I just got an email that you owe a toll. No, I don't owe no toll. So I'm about to hit it as junk mail, screenshot it. But yeah, there's a scam going out there in regards to tolls. If you owe a toll, pay the bill. Don't hit no links from your phone. Real talk. Let's continue. Fair use reaction clip.
Would get knots on my forehead, black eyes, red eyes, bruises all over my body. Ventura told prosecutors that during the first year of her decade-long relationship with Combs, he proposed the introduction of voyeurism into their sexual relationship. It first began with her hiring an escort and setting up so that she could perform for Combs, who would watch her with another person. Eventually, she said, orchestrating sex performances Combs called freak-offs, which could last anywhere from 36 hours to 4 days, became a job for her. She testified, I had the contacts to set it up in the hotel.
Yeah, same with UPS taxes. Yeah, text messages. Yeah, but you got to be careful what links you hit. And tell your friends don't send them links. Or if they send you links, say, hey, I'm about to send you a link on something. Be careful of the links that you open up. A lot of it's scam because that's from your phone. So they're thinking you're going to just go ahead and pay it. Or, you know, sometimes, yes, you're right. Sometimes I'll get a UPS or some kind of shipment saying you got to approve your shipment. I haven't ordered nothing in months. I go to stores still to get my stuff. And if I order from Walmart or Amazon. I know if I got a package coming. So be smart, people. There's people that's doing scams out there. Be smart. Be careful. Let's continue. Fair use reaction clip.
Room and all of that. At the beginning, Sean set it up. Ventura said that her stomach churned when he first proposed the experience, explaining, I didn't have a concept of how that would be a turn-on, but I accepted the responsibility. I was confused, nervous, but also loved him very much and wanted to make him happy. It wasn't something that I wanted to be doing, especially as Red.
Let me tell you something. It's funny because I actually had a toll bill. I paid the toll bill, but I actually thought I paid it. So when I went into Secretary of State, they said, no, that's fake. So luckily, I had the toll bill in front of me. Some people don't have the actual bill in front of them. So if you have a toll bill to pay it, but just have money on you. That was a situation. Somebody borrowed my car, didn't pay the toll, and then I ended up getting the toll bill. Don't let people borrow your car. Real talk. Because at first I was panicking saying, wait a minute, what's really going on? Then I contacted, say, did you use da-da-da? Yeah, I didn't have no change on me. Well, don't be using my vehicle because they contacted me and they trying to say my license can be affected. That's the scam. They're trying to say your license can be affected. I rush up to Secretary of State saying, no, that's fake. Thank goodness. But we did pay the toll, though. It was like $15, but that was an old bill. So luckily, I did find the bill. So be careful on hitting links. Let's continue. Fair use reaction clip.
Particularly as it became. She admitted, at some point, I felt like I didn't have much of a choice. Ventura testified that Combs directed her and other freak-off participants to cover themselves in baby oil. She said in court, Sean wanted it heated and he wanted it to be glistening, so we applied every 5 minutes.
Every 5 minutes.
Freak-off at the Montage Beverly Hills, Ventura said Combs asked her to get into an inflatable pool filled with baby oil while she was wearing clothes. She didn't want to, but if it was something Combs wanted to happen, that's what was going to happen, she continued. We used 10 bottles of baby oil, regular size. In a particularly graphic moment, Ventura testified that after a freak-off, there would be baby oil all over the hotel room. And if Combs had instructed someone to urinate on her, there might be urine on the sheets.
That's crazy. That's gross. That's crazy. That's gross. Oh, my goodness.
The time, Ventura said, there could be blood on the sheets.
Trigger.
You're watching a
trigger warning, y'all. That's gross. Okay, I'm grossed out. Okay. So I appreciate everyone for being here. Yeah, very slippery and very gross. And he was into some things, and you would have to deny that. And if you denied it, you couldn't be around him. You got to realize a lot of his friends too, if you wasn't into what he was into, you probably wouldn't be friends with him. So let's see if any of his friends take the stand. Let's see who takes the stand. And you got to remember, Diddy's in jail. But let's watch how they treat the people that's testifying. Okay? Let's watch how they treat the people that's testifying, that's going to take the stand. Let's watch how they cross-examine those people. Okay? There's going to be media distractions. A lot of celebrities are going to be doing weird stuff, and we're going to be side-eyeing those celebrities. Why are you doing that? That's weird. That's weird. Yep, that's weird. Some of these celebrities moved out the country. They're not out here anymore, and they trying to blame it on the orange guy being in office. So some of these celebrities were concerned because some of these celebrities don't know what's on these tapes. Now, are some of these people that's testifying against him, are they testifying for their freedom? Are they testifying for their freedom? You know, did they want to take him down a peg? And were certain people concerned that he had certain things, and for us to be safe, we got to take you down a peg. Hold on. Like the video, like the video. Fair use reaction clip. So yeah, there's a lot going on in media, you guys. And there's going to be a lot of people that's going to be doing a lot of stuff for media attention, clicks, and views. Some of these celebrities might do stuff to distract. This is the biggest story out there right now. Real talk. Press 3 if you know where you're watching from. Press 3 if you know where you're watching from. Press 5 if you've been here before where you're watching from. Yes. Your last message. I did see that some of these sports people are concerned that these tapes could be leaked out, and these major celebrities and athletes that's making the money, some of these major celebrities that's making these teams money, he might have had videos of people and politicians alleged. So somebody said we might have to take this person down a peg because we don't know if he tried to blackmail somebody. We don't know, but somebody trying to take him down. He paying a lot of money and lawyers. And you got to realize his bond was denied several times. And there was a video I watched of why his bond was denied, because of flight risks and because of possible, and they wanted to put out the video in regards to what happened to Cass. So if he's an injury to people. So let's continue. Fair use reaction clip. So this is the biggest thing. There's conversation that Cassie's mom might take the stand. Cassie's mom might take the stand. And if that's true, that's going to be interesting. If Cassie's mom takes the stand, is Cassie going to be in court supporting her mom? Or is Cassie going to have her feet kicked up? If Cassie's husband, Alex Fine, takes the stand, is Cassie going to be there if Alex takes the stand? Or are they going to allow Cassie's mom to support Alex and Alex to support the mom? So that's going to be interesting. And Alex has had a lot of security. Alex ain't been playing. Alex has had a lot of security in front of him and behind him. This is a serious situation. These people speaking up. You think, for years stuff has been going on and not too many people were speaking up. As soon as they got that man in, lawsuits start pouring out. There was like 1 point, 3 lawsuits. Another point, another 3 lawsuits. Another point, 2 lawsuits within a week. And then allegedly there was just a lawsuit that just came out. Welcome, Virginia. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, everyone. Okay, so court is going on. I think they got into court right around 9:30. I've already updated you guys on what happened Thursday, Friday, what's been talked about in the streets. Is someone trying to take Diddy down a peg? Are people that's testifying, did they sign proffer agreements to be free of connecting with? Why is it that Diddy's the only one on the stand and in the trial? Why is it just him? Why isn't there more co-conspirators? So did Cassie sign something to be able to testify and they couldn't come after her? That's the question. Are these people that's going to testify, did they sign something so they can be free of? That's the question. Okay, so I've been live for about 1:42. There's about 283 in the building. Please don't forget to subscribe, you guys. We're trying to hit 37K. Please subscribe. We're trying to hit 37K. Please also double tap the screen. Press 1 if you're watching from a phone. Press 1 if you're watching from a phone. If you're watching from a phone, all it takes is a double tapping of the screen. Just double tap your phone to hit the like button. The like button is the thumbs up above the video, below the video. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, welcome. Okay, you guys, I'm going to see what's going on in regards to the courts. I'll probably go live either later on tonight or tomorrow morning. It depends. Yeah, he didn't want to get his hands dirty. And I think a lot of people act like he didn't want to get his hands dirty. What? You think I'm a setup when there's a person that's a millionaire? Do you think they sitting there often cooking themselves breakfast? They're a millionaire. You think they're sitting up driving themselves? Do you think when there's a millionaire, they're out there cutting their own grass? No, they hire people to do things. So you got to be careful what you sign up for and who you hang around. So let me go ahead and do the disclaimer, copyright disclaimer. Under 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976, allowance made for fair use. for purposes such as criticism, comments, news reporting, teaching, scholarships and research. Fair use is use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. All comments are alleged, in our opinion, and for entertainment purposes only. Will the mom take the stand? Will her husband Alex take the stand? And will his business partners take the stand? What would they say? What were they a part of? Did they sign something to take that stand? Did they sign something to take that stand? You know what I mean? So there's a lot being said. There's a lot being talked about. My page, I try and bring y'all what the news is saying. So that way we'll get the proper information. There's a lot of misinformation out there. And people are still doing clickbait, baby. I'm surprised. People are still doing clickbait. And if you did not see or notice, Justin mom came to court even though she was injured. She came to court to support her son during what is happening with the father. So a lot's going on. Prayers go out to his children. I'll say that as well. Prayers go out to his daughters because they had to sit in that court listening to what their dad was into. Real talk. Kind of sad. Who wants to listen to that? People don't even like hearing their mom and dad or kiss or, mom and dad talk about XYZ. You got to sit up in court and hear alleged what happened. Ugh. Yeah, so a lot of people are no longer with us too. Y'all got to realize a lot's been going on in regards to Hollywood. So will some of his friends have to take the stand? Will some of his friends have to take the stand? So we'll see. We'll see. Yeah, that's what I'm wondering. What's going on with the assistant? Hello? What's going on? So we'll see, because y'all see other cases similar too. The big guy wasn't the only one that went down. So we'll see. Are people giving up information so they're free from jail as well? Because they seen prior cases prior to Diddy, and they seen what happened, and they went to jail, right? So let's see what happens. Are people taking a stand to protect themselves from going to jail? We'll see. Are his people giving him up? Are some of his people giving him up? And then he realizes that's maybe why he wants his children and family in there, because he may realize, oh, this person has to take the stand. Oh, they know XYZ. This person worked with me for 3-4 years. They know XYZ. You know what I mean? So we'll see what happens. Everyone, be blessed. Focus on healthy, safe relationships. Be around people that's loving, kind, and respectful. Yeah, that's a whole situationship right there, Mark. That's so concerning. Looking at the autopsy, certain people got autopsies of what happened in regards to her. Around her service time, there was a 24-hour watch of what of her. People were like, okay, she wasn't well. Why did she go to the hospital? Hello? And what did the daughters notice if the mom was sick? Hello? Do you understand what I'm saying? Most of us that's not well, we go to the hospital. So was there a hospital record? What kind of medication did they take? All of a sudden that transpired. They're no longer with us. Okay, let's go a step further. Do y'all remember when they RIP to her? Do y'all remember who was standing outside? Who was standing outside when she passed? Was it handlers? And whose boyfriend is that? Whose boyfriend was standing outside when she passed? And who are they dating now? I'm going to see if y'all can put it in the comments. What handlers were outside when she passed? Let's see if anybody gets it. What handlers were outside when she passed? And who is he dating now, if he was a handler? Allegedly. I don't know. Go back and look at the clip in regards to RIP to her. Look at who was standing outside. Boom. What about it? Hello? What? Is that not a huge bombshell? Why are you standing outside? Huh? Why are you standing outside? What do you know? Will he have to take the stand? Will he have to take the stand, or is he out of the country with with her in the other one? And why is her trial going on around the same time as Diddy's trial? Oh, and Lauren Sanchez is doing wedding stuff. They'll suck the energy out of Lauren Sanchez if she let them. Yeah. Mm-hmm. A lot going on. Keep an eye on that. Any of them have to take the stand. Any of them. Any of them. Any of those people have to take the stand. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see. A lot of celebrities are going to do a lot for distraction. A lot of celebrities have moved out the country. And they trying to say it's because of the orange guy. A lot of these celebrities, I wonder what celebrities going to have to testify. Okay, everyone. I appreciate you. Be blessed, be kind, be respectful. Focus on healthy, safe relationships. Check on your mothers. Check on your aunts. Check on your daughters. Check on your sons. Sons are going through things in relationships as well with the girlfriends. With the girlfriends. Check on your people. Some people are in very toxic relationships. Some people are in very toxic relationships. Thanks for being here, everyone. I hope you be safe. Be kind, be respectful. I'll keep an eye on what's going on. Who's to testify today, tomorrow, and we'll cover it. And we're going to do some other stuff that's being talked about in the media, okay? So we'll cover stuff. I debunk stuff too. If I hear something, I debunk it over here too. Yes, be safe, everyone. And then, there's a lot of people that's at the trial and they're covering it. They need to be safe as well. Some people are emotional being at the trial. They're hearing a lot of information sitting in that trial. They're hearing a lot of information. Be kind, everyone. Be respectful. I appreciate you all being here. Have a great morning. Have a great week. Be blessed. Goodbye. Goodbye, goodbye, goodbye. Thanks for tuning in. And don't forget to subscribe. There's about 215. Please subscribe and turn on your notification. I hope today we hit 37K. If we didn't hit 37K today, I'm sure we'll hit it tomorrow. Remember, my page had 3,000, 4,000 subscribers 9 months ago. We have been growing because we bring y'all to TTT. And we try not to do any clickbait. We tell y'all what's going on. And y'all have y'all opinion. So don't forget, we do have memberships over there. Super chats are welcome. Thanks for being here, everyone. I appreciate you all. Be blessed. Goodbye.